Were you ever afraid of like perhaps being a one-hit wonder, if you will?
Absolutely not. I mean, I got plaques all over my walls for hits that I've written for other artists as well. You know, K-pop to Justine Skye to H.E.R to Chris Brown. You know, so this is what I do. I live and breathe music, and I never really am like overly precious even about the songs because I just know I'm always gonna make another one.
Coming down to the wire, at the center's handed, reach right, he's coming up on the inside.
The contrast between like, never mind.
Our last episode, dude. Is that what you were about to say? Because I was thinking that on the way here. I'm listening to your music, man, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. We're back in the studio for an interview. There's not gonna be people fucking with me. I'm not gonna get stage fright because I don't like. I'm a fan of this artist for like a million years. Like, oh man, it was fucked. I'm happy to be home.
Yeah, we kept saying that. We did an episode outside the studio because we had to do it in the basement at Bronson Center after the show. So it's good to be back. Nice to be good at home studio, home field advantage.
Hell yeah, man. Home field advantage.
But yo, welcome to the show, man. Maurice Moore is in the building. Ottawa legend.
Facts.
Let's get that out the way. Ottawa legend.
Appreciate it.
Now in LA, was just in the hometown doing a show for Cranium Festival. Bro, welcome to Down the Wire Studios, bro. It's an honor to have you here.
It's an honor to be here, my man. Shit.
Dude, do you remember when we were like, we didn't have a studio and we were like, he was like our white whale for a time?
Yeah,
you know
bro.
what I mean,
like
dude?
we started this dude, back in like 2018, 2019, like we were like, yo, we should get Maurice Moore on the show. And like we were even scared to reach out because we're like, we don't even have a fucking studio space. Like this guy's gonna be like, nah.
Yo, you guys came up, bro. This is a big vibe. I love it here. I could spend some time in here, record some bangers in here.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We could turn it into a recording studio.
We could, dude. We absolutely could.
Actually, though, fun fact, though.
Yeah.
We did interview back in 2019.
Maybe.
I think it was 2019. We did interview your sister.
No way.
Kelsey Vaz. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We were like, if we interview her, like maybe Maurice will notice us.
And she was the only person that asked us for like, because most people don't like ask us, like you just asked for coffee right now.
Yeah.
Your sister was the first person, besides from water. She was like, "You guys have tea or anything like that?"
Yes.
You asked for coffee just now. You're like, tea? And we're like, "Ah, no."
Yo, see, remember we were talking about the difference at the show between like singers and a sanger?
Yeah.
Sangers got to get it right, man. We put in work on these chords, man.
You guys are motherfucking sangers, though. You guys have pipes, dude. Like,
I appreciate it.
Is that a family thing? You guys all that runs in the family?
Yeah, I mean, my whole family is all, not necessarily musicians, but in music in some way, shape, or form. You know, my dad used to rap back in college. You know, my granddad is a guitar player, bass player, singer, songwriter. But I feel like I learned how to sing from my sister because she was always singing, and prior to that, I was mostly rapping. And then she really was the one that was like, yo, why don't you like try singing? And I was like, it's kind of soft, but after going to school and singing for girls and seeing how they responded, that's when I was like, all right, rapping is cool, but like this is the vibe,
What was your dad's rap name?
That's I don't even know what his rap name. He used to be in a frat. He was a Kappa. And like they used to have the canes and like do like these whole dance routines and like he'd be rapping on the mic. I need to ask him that. That's actually a good question.
I think I worked with your dad.
No way.
Yeah.
At a restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the name. I don't want people like whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, he's a chef.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've met like everyone in your family besides you. Your dad hated me though.
No.
I was a shit worker. Like I sucked. Like, I was not a good kitchen guy. Like I was bad.
Don't show him this.
You get mad at me
he's
all the
gonna
time.
see it.
Yeah.
He's gonna see it.
Hey dude. It's been a while. But I was gonna ask like, when did you know because you said like you didn't want to start singing, you're mainly just rapping, your sister tried to push it on you. Like, did you know you could sing? Like, how did you first start that?
I mean, I always loved like my favorite artist growing up, believe it or not. Like I was definitely a hip hop head, but like when I would go home by myself and the homies weren't around, I'd be listening to Shania Twain like all day.
Nice.
I was obsessed. So I always had an ear for melody and I could always, sing with a song, but I never thought of myself as a singer or thought that was something that I could actually do. But it was something I really worked hard at. I didn't just come out like doing runs and like hitting falsetto notes and stuff like that. That was something that took time to develop. But I always had the ear. I knew when I was in tune and when I was out of tune. And I feel like if you have that, then you can learn how to sing, Yeah.
You have to be stupid not to be able to figure it out if you could.
Yeah,
right?
what the heck? Man? Like, what the fuck you doing?
You said like it was girls that made you make the switch from rapping to singing?
Yeah, I thought, a lot of people, this is like every fuckboy says this, but like it's like,
So say it.
you have your vice. Everybody has their vices, right? Some people smoke weed, some people drink, some people, pop pills, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, especially when I was younger, women was my vice.
Tiger Woods was all of those things.
Yeah, all the above.
Tiger Woods was all of those.
Shout out to Tiger Woods, man. Legend. So, anything for me, like, I grew up playing football as well. So that was like how I used to, like, I'd invite girls to my football games because I knew I was going to ball out every game. And I was like, come see me play. So when I started,
fucking lucky, dude. He's an all-star athlete and he can sing. Like most people barely get to have one.
Yo,
Yeah,
I don't take any credit. That's all my dad. Shout out to my dad and to my mom for some good genes, that came clutch. But yeah, I feel like anything that would get me the girl was like the thing that I would, lean towards. So music being that for me was always something that stood out as, it wasn't the only motivator, but it definitely made it more appealing.
Right.
Were you were you a fuckboy or were you like a lover, like a
Lover boy.
romantic lover man?
I feel like I was a misunderstood romantic.
right. So a
Yeah. Some people, I mean, I'm definitely the villain in somebody's story. But no, I think I'm a lover boy. I think for me, I was just an underdeveloped lover boy. I didn't know how to communicate exactly what I was looking for, in those days. But I grew, and now, I feel like I can communicate, what the situation is from the get, rather than lead people on, and that was kind of my downfall back then. But, growth.
We grow, we evolve, we're humans.
Yeah.
So like I can kind of tell, like I think anyone could kind of tell, but like you can tell that women are like a big influence in your music, you know what I mean? And I find like sometimes like artists have, or like R&B artists specifically have specific kind of themes or topics they center themselves around.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find yourself as one of those, like you kind of focus on the sort of romantic side of R&B as opposed to other sort of realms of it? Or
I feel like I think of myself primarily as just an artist. The word artist really, I feel like, exemplifies what I do more so than the word R&B, because I feel like R&B is almost limiting in many ways. You think of R&B, you think of romance, you think of sex, you think of love.
Mm-hmm.
And although that is definitely a part of who I am and a big part of how I like to express myself, I don't necessarily like to limit myself to those topics. A lot of my biggest songs, happen to be centered around that. But, some of my personal favorite songs, I'm talking about, my family and what it was like growing up and some of the chaos. I have a huge blended family, step siblings, half siblings, divorces, and all this stuff going on when I was a kid. So I like to talk about that and how that, shaped my mindset and who I am as a young man. But love and romance is something that I think is pretty universal. So I like to talk about things that not only is, potent to me, but that I think is relevant to the world, that people can, live their lives to.
And I think you can see a lot of like evolution in that through your discography, because like from way back was 2016 was The Loudest Silence, right?
Yeah.
So from then up until now 2022, I think you have like 4 or 5 singles out this year. Like you're pumping music out, and then in between you have those 2 albums. Let's kind of get into it. Like so let's start with The Loudest Silence, because like the evolution over the years is crazy. So that track, that was your breakthrough track, right? That was the one that really popped off. Like that's got 30 million streams on Spotify. It's gone.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions for this track, but I'm gonna stick with 2. First one.
good restraint, dude.
First one. Well, what was the inspiration behind the Ted Mosby sample?
Wow.
Yeah, shout out Ted Mosby.
Shout out to Ted Mosby, man.
That's my dog, bro.
Ted Mosby is a legend. I remember I was in like 11th or 12th grade at the time, and I had a spare in like first or second period, and I would always like go home and watch How I Met Your Mother. I was obsessed. I mean, I watched a lot of other things, but that was my How I Met Your Mother phase. And
Everyone's had one.
Everyone buzzed How I Met Your Mother.
yeah, you had to. I remember when I saw that last episode, I immediately knew like I had to make a song and I had to clip that moment. I don't know what it was because I had never done it before in any songs before that. It just hit me so hard because of what I was going through at the time, which was, you know, my like devastating high school lover breakup thing. And
whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it.
Worst thing that ever happened.
Yeah. It felt like that at
The
the
day
time.
everything changed. Whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it.
So, you know, that was like definitely a potent, you know, moment in the show that really spoke to me and what I was going through. And I feel like it just amalgamated, I don't know if that's the right word, or just condensed everything that I was experiencing into the simple words about, you know, love and what it means and how it, you know, goes against logic, and you might fight for something that isn't even right for you just because you believe in the love so much. And that was really what I was going through, and Ted Mosby really encapsulated that in a beautiful way.
Do you think him and Robin belong together? Side question, but
I don't.
Was this the second question?
I don't. And that's the beauty of it, is because in the moment I thought it was for me. And years later I almost realized that song in a different way. I was like, oh wow, that this was true for me at the time. And later on, you know, I realized that, you know, maybe it wasn't the right relationship for me.
So there's layers to that.
There's layers, man. That almost all of my songs manifest in real life after, which is crazy. And now I realize the magic and the sorcery of music. It's like I have to be careful about what I say almost. You know, maybe I can use it to speak my dreams into existence rather than sing about heartbreak and all these things. Maybe it's worth it to be like, I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker in the room. You know?
Yeah, that's sick as fuck. Whenever you make a song, it comes to life. Can you make a song about the blow up of Down on the Wire? Just
do it right now.
I'll do the theme song. Let's talk.
But no, that wasn't my second question. I think you know what my second question is, though, about that song.
Give her.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, do it.
All right, I'll take it. My thing with The Loudest Silence is it's always interesting when you have an artist have a huge like breakout track. Because what I'm always thinking is like, yo, like, where's your headspace at right after that? Like, how do you, it's almost to say, but like, how do you rebound from that? Because it's like, is there pressure on you now? Like, fuck, like, how do I repeat that? Are you trying to repeat it?
You know what? I had no intention of that song being what it became. When I made it, I was literally just a kid in my mom's basement, like just messing around and trying things out. So to me, it's just like amazing. To me, if anything, it more encourages me to just have fun with this whole thing. You know, that's really why I started, other than, you know, all the other, you know, the females and whatever. That's really secondary to just my love for music and creating stories and creating sounds and just getting lost in that kind of creative space. That's what I do it for, really. That's what drives me. So, you know, I don't think I'm necessarily trying to replicate the success. I actually think that that's, you know, when all is said and done, I think that will be like almost forgotten in my discography. I think this is really, I'm still consider myself a new artist. You know, a lot of people locally have seen me from when I was a little kid, but, you know, I'm still like, you know, in my 20s, and I'm still on the come up, you know? So I think of myself really as a brand new artist, and that's a great highlight of my early career. And I think there's so much more that's on the way. So
You're almost kind of hoping that like people forget it, because that means there's just way more like bangers.
Yeah, it's like that's definitely the highlight of my early career, and I still think it's a special moment. But, you know, I think I have so much more to say now and so much more developed as an artist. So I just think it's not that people forget it, but rather people follow the journey. You know, people stay along for the ride.
Were you ever afraid of like perhaps being a one-hit wonder, if you will?
Absolutely not. I mean, I got plaques all over my walls for hits that I've written for other artists as well. You know, K-pop to Justine Skye to H.E.R to Chris Brown, you know. So this is what I do. I live and breathe music, and I never really am like overly precious even about the songs, because I just know I'm always gonna make another one.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. Just like clockwork.
It's clockwork, man. It's just another day in the office. You don't
collect them. You just fucking.
I mean, I do collect them. You know, I have like a whole catalog of like thousands of songs, literally.
But you don't mind getting rid of one because you know you can write a better one tomorrow.
Period.
Sick.
Yeah.
Just yeah, that'd be a sick talent, you know. That'd be sick. I'd be all right with that.
But yeah, you definitely, like you were saying, you feel like you're more polished, like since The Loudest Silence. Past that, what was your debut album called again? The blue cover?
The Amber Room?
Yeah, the Amber Room.
Yeah.
That's
With
a
a blue
sick
cover.
fucking like. That would be your debut, right?
Yeah.
That was a sick fucking album, dude. And I want to talk about the Ottawa roots in that album, bro, because there's so many like low key, like not even low key, just like amazing Ottawa roots in that album. I mean, at the end of Thought Line. Is that Freddie Prince?
That's Freddie Prince.
Yo, that's
Prince.
I texted him last night. I was like, yo, is that you at the end of Thought Line? He's like, yo, that's crazy. Like, you even saw that, bro. And he wanted me to tell you, when he went to dap you up at Cranium Festival, he said the brim of his hat like knocked your tooth or something. He's like, he wanted me to apologize.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Freddie says it's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, hold on. Side note: did anyone see Freddie Prince's story today of him doing push-ups with earbuds in that weren't plugged into anything? Did anyone see that today?
You know why he did that?
Because he unplugged his phone to take that video and then left the earbuds in his fucking ears. I know exactly why it happened. I fucking lost it.
Holy fucking detective work, man. You guys cracked that case. But yeah, you got Freddie on the end of Thought Line, and then you also have Jeff Sandin featuring on that track.
Jeff Sandin on there. Yep.
So yeah, it's just dope to see the Ottawa roots that are on that album. And I kind of want, like, what was it like working with Ottawa artists in that time?
Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, I think early in my career, I mean, it still is this way. But I think my relation to it has evolved. But, you know, it was always a part of the mission for me to put Ottawa on the map, you know, in as many ways as I possibly could, whether it was collaborating with local talent or it was just, you know, waving the flag of the city. And, you know, I never claimed like I was from Toronto, which a lot of, you know, artists from Ottawa have done in the past. I take a lot of pride in where I'm from and the experience I had that shaped me into who I am. And a lot of that is Ottawa, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, you know, Jeff Sandin has been a big, you know, he was making music when I was like 12 years old, you know. I was looking at Jeff Sandin like a god, you know. So he really had an influence on me. And now, you know, I was developing my career and it was cool to have him a part of the project. Freddie, same thing, man. These guys were like, I was looking at these guys in middle school like, I want to be like that, you know. So that was dope. And also Race, I don't know if you guys heard, Race from Hot 89.9 is on the intro of the album as well.
Okay.
So, you know, just it's that song to me was like my introduction to the world, and I wanted people to know where I was from and wanted people to have a glimpse into, you know, my story.
That's dope. Dope seeing the chain. Mm-hmm. It's like you were looking up to those guys, and now like we look up to those guys, and it's just like the whole like culture chain's building.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Can you give examples on like how you rep Ottawa now that you live in LA?
I mean, I always let people know where I'm from. Like I said, like that's just, a lot of people will be like, I'm from Canada if they want to avoid saying where they're from, or they'll say they're from Toronto. Like I really emphasize that I'm from Ottawa. I always use my slang. I got people in LA saying like Hasid and like, you know, Bhakti and Mesquite and like all types of shit. You know, I never like lost my lingo or lost, you know, my Ottawa. It's always on my sleeve.
What about this city so important to you? Like I'm from, like I relate to this. Like I'm from the East Coast. I love saying that I'm from the East Coast, from a small little shitty town named Middleton.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shittleton. Let's go.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
But I'll rep that place forever, right? But like what about Ottawa makes you love it so much?
I think early on, you know, the diversity that I experienced in the city was something that forever left its mark on me. You know, I had this duality growing up. I went to St. Pat's, which is like kind of notoriously kind of a ghetto school in Ottawa. A lot of like drama, you know, guns and drugs and all types of shit happening over there. And there's like a rival school next door, Ridgemont, which there's always beef, you know, between Ridgemont and St. Pat's. So I had that aspect, and, you know, growing up in Fairleigh, which is, you know, also not the friendliest neighborhood in Ottawa, especially when I was growing up. But then also getting scholarships to play football at these, you know, big private schools like Ashbury College, which is probably the most like luxurious, expensive. Kids are paying like $25,000 a year to go to school there, more than college. Wow. So having that duality had just such a huge impact on my mindset and just how I look at the world, seeing like the complete opposite cultures and that it can exist in the same city. I don't know, that just had such an impact on me as a kid. And I'm sure there's the similar experience that you could get in other cities, but the fact that it happened to me in Ottawa and the things that I got to see and experience, it just shaped me, man. And I wouldn't trade it for anything else, man. It's part of my DNA.
That's awesome to hear, bro. That's dope.
Why'd you leave?
Why did I leave?
Yeah.
I left because I feel like as much as I love Ottawa, just like any, you know, parent, you know, mother letting their child off into the world, I knew that there was more out there for me. And even though I love Ottawa, I don't think it's necessarily has all the infrastructure that is needed to not just to break your career, because I think now you can make it from anywhere. You can be in some shoebox in Idaho and you know, blow up on TikTok, and you can make it happen anywhere. I think when I was really young, when I was searching for opportunities, LA just seemed like the most logical next step for me, to get my feet wet in the industry, to network, to meet the right people and get myself in the right conversations, the right rooms. And like I said, I was writing songs a lot for, you know, other artists out there. I signed to Warner as a songwriter. So it was just a lot of opportunities were popping off for me out there. And I'm grateful because it challenged me. It challenged me. When I first got there, man, it was like a culture shock. It was the first time I ever lived alone. I had just turned 20 and I was like, holy shit, like, this is a lot. You know?
Life's like, starting now.
Life is starting. And I didn't have anybody with me. I didn't have friends or family to like lean on. And I was just like, holy shit, you know, this is real. But that's where I feel like I became like a man, you know, like it grew my chest hair a little bit. I faced a lot of hardship that I didn't even foresee coming. And I feel like it really shaped this next phase of my career where I'm just more of a refined mind. I'm more resilient. Nothing phases me anymore, you know, whereas maybe when I was younger and hungry for an opportunity, I felt like I needed the approval. Whereas going out to LA, it developed my thicker skin and made me have more confidence in myself. Cause I'm like, if I can get through this shit, I can get through anything, you know? So
what's the contrast like between the work and collaborations you've done with Ottawa artists to artists in the States? Like, I guess California, we can say LA.
Yeah, I think most of the artists I work with in LA are either signed to a major label or signed to a publishing company. It's more, I would just say it's a little bit more refined. You know, these artists have put like years and years into their craft. And I think a lot of the issue with Ottawa artists is just that we don't have a lot of the infrastructure to develop our talents. We don't have big recording studios. We don't have, you know, record labels. We don't have publishing companies based out of our city. So we have to kind of teach ourselves. And I think that's another thing that helped me when I moved to LA, is it really transformed me as an artist. I realized, wow, like there's so much room to grow. And rather than being like defeated by that, I was almost like energized by it. I'm like, man, I want to get in the studio with the biggest producer. I want to get in with the biggest artist. I want to get in with people better than me. And I want to absorb and learn. And that's really what I did. And I think that's the big contrast. And I think it's why Ottawa artists should strive to get out of the city, even if temporarily, you know, just for a period of time, just to go and expand their mind and realize just what's out there and what's possible.
I mean, jumping in the deep end will teach you to swim right quick.
Yeah, let's go.
But like when you first got there, were there ever those moments of like homesickness, like, holy fuck, like here I am? Like, you know, and as a, like, do you have any advice to a young artist that is about to like perhaps considering making this move, like for when they get out into these sort of bigger ponds, if you say?
Yeah, I think like the first thing I experienced was like, at that time I was already doing music for a living full time. Like I was making my full-time income through music. So that was like step one. I got myself to a point where, you know, it didn't matter what anybody had to say. I am in the game, you know, whether you fuck with me or not, I'm in the game. I'm a professional. So, you know, build yourself up to a point where, not necessarily where you're perfectly stable, because I think that can also be a double-edged sword. You know, when you feel too much stability, it can make you too comfortable and not, you know, take the risks that you need to take. So, you know, when I say stability, I'm saying I think you should be stable in the sense of you should be confident in your skills. You should be developed to a certain point. You should have put in your 10,000 hours. You're going to LA with your 10,000 hours put in, and you're going to basically put yourself in the rooms to put that on display and maximize that and even get better, of course. And then also I think too, don't let your ego get in the way. You know, a lot of things that I noticed from Canadian artists specifically is we have this like sense of entitlement, like we deserve something. And I feel like in the States, people just don't give a shit, bro. Like they don't care what you do, like they don't care. It's like, what can you do for me right now? I don't care what you've done, but what are you doing right now? And so I think like putting the ego to the side and taking, you know, opportunities, big or small, when you're out in LA, you really never know. And it's like some of the people that I met when they were nobodies in LA, just getting started, they're now, you know, massive, you know, huge artists. So, you know, take any and every opportunity, put yourself in position, don't have too much ego, and put in the work, man. Like, it's not easy. This is not for the faint of heart to choose this career path.
That's like the 3-step progress. Like, that's how you check your ego.
Leave your ego at the door. Fucking put in your work.
10,000 hours.
Yeah. And
Like,
say yes
yeah.
to everything, especially when you first get there, man, when you don't know anybody. Just say yes, man. Just go out, meet people. And the beauty about LA is you really never know where people are going to be in 5 years, man. Like, somebody you thought was ain't shit, they're the biggest thing in the world 5 years later, bigger than anyone ever imagined. And that's beautiful to witness. Because something clicks in your head when you're like, damn, like, I had no idea that guy was going to do that. And it's like, oh shit, anybody can do this.
Have you experienced that?
Hell yes.
And then you're just sitting there like, him, why me, why not me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, not even from a bitter way, but more so like, wow, like, that's a beautiful thing. Like, there's no excuses.
Like a competitive way rather than bitter. Like, you know.
Not even competitive, more just from a spiritual context of like, if I can see it, it's real. It can happen. And if this person can do it, I can do it too. And that's the beauty. And you look around and you should see things and not get jealous. That should enter. It's like, wow, that's possible. I can do that too. Wow. Like, that's lit, you know? And I think that's a thing coming from a city like Ottawa where there's not as many opportunities. People have it fucked up. You know, they get bitter and jaded and they look at people that they knew growing up, seeing them get successful. And they're like, yo, fuck this guy. I'm better than him. It's like, bro, that's just the wrong mindset. You should be looking at that person as an example that it's possible, and that should excite you, and you should go put your head down and put in the work, you know?
Do you find it's like that welcoming in LA though? Like, it's not cutthroat out there? Like,
It's absolutely cutthroat.
Yeah, is it fake? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're speaking about it like you're like, you know, like, I'm at my fucking, like, it's college, you know, you met your best friends there, you know? But I don't know, like, I feel like sort of the media makes it out to be like this fucking fake plastic made up world.
That exists there too. But, you know, I think that exists like everywhere, you know. I think LA just happens to be a melting pot for the entertainment business, which by its nature is almost kind of a little bit superficial and, you know, fake to a degree. But I just think the magic of LA is that you will never find as many driven, ambitious, young, hungry at every stage of their career. It's all there. You know, everything that you're looking for, you looking to get in the streets, you're going to find it there. You want to get with the hipsters and get into your fashion game, like, it's all there. And that's why I feel like it really helped me develop as a person, like, figure out who I am, not just, oh, I'm from Ottawa. And like, yeah, I'm from Ottawa, but that's like a small part of my origin story. You know, now I've built on that. I learned about fashion. I learned about music. I learned about art. I learned about the streets. I learned about, damn, like, shit is really real, you know? That's the magic of LA. And yes, I learned about Hollywood and the fake bullshit that goes on in Hollywood. It's all there. And that's like the beauty of it almost. And you can choose your own experience, you know, like those RPG games. You know, you can choose what you're going to say to this person, and then that's going to affect the next, you know. You know?
That's a sick analogy, man.
You know, so that's
life's a video game, bro.
It is a video.
LA is a big simulation.
LA is a simulation, bro, on God. And I think life is a simulation. I think this whole shit is a game, and the more you think of it as a game, the more fun it becomes, man. It's not like it's meant to be this like dreadful, like, fuck, like, I need to make it and whatever. It's like, bro, like, you're playing this game, bro, and it's like, if you just beat the game in like the first day, like, it's kind of boring. It's not as fulfilling, you know. You should, like, you want a nice long RPG, you know, where you can get into it. You know, you meet all these different characters, you have all these different experiences along the way, and it's a lot of fun, man.
No speed running, you just want a nice slow burn, you know.
Hell yeah, because, you know, it's like you earned it.
Yeah,
you earned it. You want to earn your victories. You don't want them handed to you. I mean, I don't want them handed to me, but actually that leads me to another point. Is like, I think from Ottawa, we almost, because there's not a lot of opportunities, we almost assume that it has to be hard. We assume that the journey is supposed to be difficult, and so it is. You know, so that's something that I've had to break out of, moving to a city, not even just moving to LA, but in my journey as a whole, as a person, is like unlearning that it should be hard. It's like, what if it was easy? Like, what if it's a slow burn because I'm just enjoying the ride? But what if it was actually easy? What if it was easy for me to just connect with people instantly? What if it was easy for me to like just sit down and write a song? Like, changing my perspective has had massive implications, you know, for my journey.
So just saying this is easy.
this is fucking easy. Like
this isn't hard. This is easy.
This is easy.
This is easy as shit.
This is easy. Like, look, we're literally, bro, there's people out there right now that are fucking in the middle of the ocean on these boats. It's pouring rain. They don't know if they're going to make it home. They're fishing. They're like freezing cold. Like we're out here just sitting here, drinking water, smoking weed, and just talking. Like, that's a fucking vibe.
I didn't even write any questions for this interview.
This is easy, bro. This is fucking...
It's so easy, right? Like, yeah, it's fucking easy.
I want to talk about your versatility as an artist, because you kind of alluded to it earlier. You were like, you can write. You wrote for, like, you said, H.E.R, Chris Brown, all that. I found it interesting, actually, to back it up. We talked about the Amber Room. You don't have many features, like, in general, like, throughout your music. It's very limited, your features. So I found it interesting that Jeff Sandin was a feature, because he's a guy that's very low key. Like, he's another guy that a lot of people don't realize. He does a lot of writing behind the scenes, and you're also doing a lot of writing behind the scenes. Is that, like, kind of what you're looking for when you? It's just like, yo, I like like-minded people like me. We're kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I think I prioritize the art first. So a collaboration, as much as like people try to collab with people because, you know, they're trying to get their clout up and whatever. For me, it's all about the art. And if I feel like I can identify an artist that can elevate a song or elevate this story that I'm trying to tell, or even tell it from a different perspective, to me, that's the whole purpose of collaboration, is we're trying to make the greatest piece of art, you know. And I think Jeff is an incredible artist, and I've witnessed that since early in my career, so it's just a no-brainer. When I had that song Selfless, I played it for him, and like he immediately knew what to say. So, you know, that's the thing. But even now, I feel like my single run this summer has been full of features. You know, I've been collaborated with YC, who's, you know, a Nigerian legend. He's super popping out there in Nigeria, and I took a strong, passionate liking towards African music, Afrobeat. You know, I'm a piano, even, you know, South American music, like fucking.
I think it's like that's sort of like on the like Afrobeats and like and like that is huge now. Past 2 years, dude, like Afrobeats have become like one of the most definite like talked about like main stage styles right now. That and like a Caribbean, like South American music as well. Like shout out Bad Bunny and shit.
Shout out
like,
Bad Bunny, man. Maluma, you know.
Yeah,
all that
exactly.
shit. Yeah.
So do you, as an R&B singer, you know, I feel like a lot of R&B singers, you know, once they find their kind of bag, they'll stick with it. How are you kind of pushing yourself to experiment into these other realms?
I strongly resist like just doing like the regular shit. Like I understand why people do it, and I understand the mindset behind it. But for me, like I said, I'm an artist, man. Like I can't stay in a box, and I hate boxes, and I resist them, and I always have been that way. I've never done well with like submitting to authority and like motherfuckers telling me what to do. And I'm a very creative person, so, you know, whenever something inspires me, I want to create it immediately. So what that looks like for me is every album you hear from me is going to be different from the last. You're never going to get the same album twice from me. I'm always exploring and trying to discover what's next for me. How can I use my voice in a way that no one has heard me do it yet? How can I write a song from a perspective that no one would expect me to write it from? How can I switch up the genre? You know, I feel like the thing that is the common theme in all of my music is just my voice. You know, that is the familiar thing that people, oh yeah, that's Maurice. But the genre, the style, the rhythms, the tempo, like it's always going to evolve, always.
I'm just picturing, like, ever since you said I hate boxes, I just picture you like moving. And just being the worst thing, dude.
No, for
just
real.
Just putting everything in bags.
That's my life, bro. No kizzy. Like, I just was in Greece for a couple weeks, and like I'm probably gonna go spend like a couple months out in Greece. Same with Spain. I fell in love with Spain and Greece in particular. I'm planning to go out there for like a good amount of time.
Immersing yourself in other cultures must be like a true inspiration too, you know?
Absolutely, man. The mindsets that you're exposed to, it's crazy to see how people just live life differently, you know? Like in Canada, we have a certain way of living. In LA, there's a certain way of living. It's actually a little more cutthroat, like you were saying. It's a little more like, damn, you walk outside, people are intense, and like, you know, you're going to find crack pipes like walking out just in the neighborhood.
Hey, we have crack pipes here.
Yeah, we do.
We have crack pipes. Ottawa has just fine crack pipes, nice, man. Crack. You think you're too good for Ottawa crack pipes? This fucking guy, man, moves to LA and suddenly he's too good for Ottawa crack pipes.
Yo, it's levels to it, because like I've never seen, you know, hundreds and hundreds of tents on a street in Ottawa ever.
Like hundreds and hundreds of crack pipes.
Yeah, well, that too. Hundreds. No, but it's real out there, and I think like seeing that almost like makes you realize how, you know, especially in the States, like these are people who have dreams and ambitions and wanted to make something of their life, and it's like that almost is in the back of my head, like, wow, like I can't let that happen to me. And also, how do I, you know, create an impact that helps change this in one way or another, whether it inspires the person who, you know, is going to be able to make the difference, or if that's me myself finding ways to give back to the community. Like, it really it awoken like a different type of hunger inside of me, for sure.
Did you feel like you have a main overall kind of mission with your music? Because you kind of said you want to like put Ottawa on the map. You also just mentioned you want to be an inspiration for people. Or do you have just a bunch of side quests? Like, oh, I want to do this, that. Or is there an overline just like, yeah, I want to accomplish this? Or are you just out here making music, bro? Like, you're just chilling?
No, man. I definitely am very intentional about everything. And I'm a very intentional person. I would say there's a lot of side quests for sure. But like the overarching mission for me is like, I want to leave like a positive mark on my world, in a massive way. Like, I don't want to just play, you know, small people games. Like, I want to impact the world. I want to impact millions of people. And so I know to do that, I not only have to like build myself up to have the platform to do so, but I also have to build up my mindset so that I can, you know, figure out what the people need. You know, when it comes to my art, especially my album that I'm working on right now, it's called I Need Space. And it's everything that we talked about is honestly really the themes of the album. You know, that experience of going to LA and needing that space from everything that was normal in Ottawa, all my family, all my normal friends. You know, I was alone. I needed that space to forge myself into this new person that I am today. And I want to show people that is something that they can do. I don't think people realize that nothing is fixed. You can become whoever you want to be whenever. You could be 60 years old and you can be like, yo, I'm done. Like, this is who I am now. I'm switching it up. And I think that's so powerful, because I think a lot of people don't execute on their dreams and their ambitions because they don't realize that they can. And I just want to be a living example of that. I want to do all the side quests, make everything happen that I set out to do, and inspire people in the process.
The side quests are just building up XP.
Side quests make the slow burn longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
GTA is a quick game if you play through all like the character missions, but you got to do all the other ones.
Yeah,
right?
You got to, man. Come on. You didn't really beat the game if you didn't do all the side quests.
Who'd you kill in the end?
Who did you kill in the end?
Who'd you kill in the end? I kept them all alive. I couldn't choose.
Yo, I did too, actually.
I can tell there's some about you guys. You just brought it up though, but you're working on a new album right now. What's it called?
It's called I Need Space.
I Need Space. I heard, we have a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And they heard the album.
Oh, shoot.
And they told me that it's fucking crazy.
Wow.
Can you give us a little fucking taste or a little teaser of what to expect?
Who told you that? Why don't I know that? Who told you that?
I got different mutual friends than you,
Come
bro.
on,
damn. Well, I have some really a lot of my favorite artists over the last couple of years on the album. I got
Like who?
Jordan Sparks.
Crazy.
Damn.
PnB Rock. Rest in peace.
Wow. Rest in peace.
I got a record with H.E.R.
Dope.
That I don't know if we're gonna be able to clear it for the album, because you know there's a whole thing going on with her and her legal battles and stuff right now. But we have an incredible record together. And yeah, man, I just think this project is gonna show a lot of people the growth of me as an artist. And I think even listening back to the Amber Room and Destination Unknown, I'm listening to this and I'm hearing like I feel like I'm hitting my stride in terms of managing both the idea that I want to create something that is a body of work and a piece of art, but something that also is going to be able to impact in a mainstream fashion. And that's really the dance that I've always been trying to strike a balance with, and I've been learning as I go. Like I've always like been a fan of artists like Frank Ocean and FKA Twigs and Childish Gambino, and just like the real artists. But at the same time, I've always been such a big fan of like the Chris Browns and the Drakes and, the big mainstream guys. So for me, it's always been trying to strike that balance. And I think this is the best job that I've done at that so far, for sure.
Did those like the Drake and the Chris Brown, like those sort of influences, were those like more so early in your career, and then like as you kind of grow, you came to appreciate sort of the art side of it more?
No, I actually think it's always been that duality. I think for me as an artist, though, I've always struggled to find that balance in my own music. Like I feel like you'd have like the song that's more artsy and the song that's more commercial, but I think now you're kind of getting both in one, which is like someone who's great at that, in my opinion, is like Kendrick Lamar.
Facts.
Like he's so good at creating like, this is a banger, but it also has so much depth woven into it.
Bro, like the N95 music video, there's like a million fucking references.
So many analogies, man. It's crazy.
It's like that when you need to like when you have to like Google certain bars. Like I love that. I love that type of music. When I'm like, did he just say what I think he said? Like I gotta look that up.
Hell yeah, man.
He didn't. Yeah.
What was it like working in the studio with PnB?
He is a legend, man. He immediately made me feel welcome, and he immediately let me know how much he appreciated my creativity and, you know, my mindset around the music. And we were deep into working on his album as well. I had some songs for his project that we were working on. And I had brought some of people from my team, some females, like creatives, some women in the industry that are incredibly talented. But you never know, like when you bring people to the studio, you know, especially when they're not invited, what's going to happen? You're like, oh, I hope this goes smoothly. And he immediately welcomed them in like they were family. So I really always respected him in the way that he approached his craft. And he was always a stand-up dude. And it really hurt when I heard about what happened. And yeah, it's definitely an honor to have crossed paths with him on my journey, for sure.
Long live PnB Rock, man. I've been a fan for time, bro. That was hard. That was hard.
Definitely, man.
What's it like been working? Like, because you said you had a lot of writing credits. You mentioned H.E.R is going to be on the album, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
You wrote for H.E.R and you also wrote for Chris Brown. Like, what does that look like? Like, are they reaching out to you in a room with them, or are you just kind of like writing something, sending it off?
So it's both. Like with H.E.R, I was in the studio with her. I actually linked up with her like before she was even H.E.R. She had yet to rebrand.
Right.
She was she.
Yeah, she's always been an incredible talent. But my boy Swag Arcelius, shout out to Swag Arcelius. He's an incredible producer. He invited me to a studio one night to write some records, and she just happened to be my co-writer for the day. And we just instantly had like a really great creative connection, you know, a magic that kind of happened in the studio, and we stayed in touch. And years later, she called me up to work on her project when she was in LA, and we got to work on that, and we did a couple records, and one of them is the one that I'm talking about with Chris. You know, my management team that I was working with at the time was very well connected in that scene, in that world. So it was just like sending records out, and they're like, yo, we need this. We're putting this one on hold. You know, please don't send this out to anybody. And then a lot of my K-pop stuff, you know, I've gone out with SM Entertainment, which is like the biggest label, one of the biggest labels out in Korea. And they'll fly a bunch of writers out, and we just go in and we're meeting the artists, we're writing with them, creating the songs. And yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of both. Sometimes I'm just sending stuff out. Sometimes I'm in the room with them.
That sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah, it sounds like a sick.
That sounds fun as fuck, dude.
It's really fun, man. I love it. I mean, I've taken a step back from writing for other artists, especially in the last year, just because I really want to focus in on my voice as an artist. It's me time. But, you know, if it makes sense, you know, I'll step in. But right now, I'm definitely locked in on my own shit.
I've been with some artists have been like, yo, come to the studio while we're writing just to see what it looks like, and like come film it and shit. And
yeah,
I was expecting there to be like rows of tables and people just fucking like writing and shit. But it was them just kind of like, it's kind of like how we come up with jokes when we're doing skits. We're just kind of like saying shit to each other, like, oh, that's funny, write that down, keep it going. It's kind of like that. I feel like there's different like ways of writing, or is it all, do you have, is it like a blueprint that you have?
There's so many approaches. There's so many approaches, and I've even evolved my approach over the years. When I first started, I would usually write the lyrics on a piece of paper. I might have the beat playing, and I'm like kind of humming to myself, and then I'm writing words as I go. From there, I started learning, because I started songwriting for these, you know, LA guys, and I learned a new approach, which was coming up with the melody first. So we would like record like just, and then we would say like,
that was fire.
we would record the melodies it sounds the way we want. Okay, this is what we want the song to sound like. Now let's put words to all the syllables and the sound. So if it's dabba dabba doo, it might be like, girl, I don't fuck with you, whatever.
Right.
And so that's kind of still the basis of my process, but now I actually just write line by line. So I'll like come to the mic, I have the beat loaded up, and I'll do the same thing with the melody, but now I'm just going to start with the first line. And then once I have the first line, I'm going to punch the second one, and I'm not writing anything down. It's kind of like a Lil Wayne type approach, just like kind of going as you go line by line by line. And it's cool because you'll play the song back and you're like, damn, it's only been like 20 minutes and I have like a whole song. Whereas the other approaches take a little bit longer. It's a little bit more methodic, but I like this way because the song kind of reveals itself to me as I go versus being overly like conceptual beforehand. It's like the creativity is being more channeled in real time.
It's like a scratch ticket that you just keep getting matches.
Yeah.
Keep getting matches.
You're like, holy shit, I just won $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing like making a song. Same thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy though, because I feel like when a lot of artists go into making an album, there's a theme to it. So it's like when there's a theme to it, I feel like it's like How I Met Your Mother. Like there's sometimes when I watch that show, I'm like, they must have written this whole show before it even started. Like the way they like flash back to shit. So it's crazy to me to think that like you're just coming up with shit on the spot when there's like a theme throughout the whole album.
Yeah, there's always a theme. I think that's like the guiding force. And then once I sit like fully what's the word I'm looking for? Fully commit to a theme, it's like embedded into my creative mind. And now it's not a matter of trying to over conceptualize each song, but rather just channel that. Like let that be the guiding energy, but don't get in the way of that. Don't let your mind and your ego try to construe that. Just channel that. Now it's like you're a conduit for this creative energy, and you're just allowing it to pass through.
How do you like think of good things to write? Do you read a lot? Do you?
I do read a lot. I'm not a big fiction person, although I've been getting more into fiction recently. But
I'm not
I've always
a big fiction
been
guy either, dude.
I just like to learn.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how I.
Makes it more productive, right?
Yeah, right.
If I'm gonna read, I may as well get something out of it. If I want to like enjoy something, I'll just watch a fucking movie.
Exactly,
right?
dog. That's it. Like when it comes to fiction, I watch a lot of movies and a lot of films. That's usually where I get my visual, descriptive kind of ideas.
I don't want to make my own pictures or movies in my head. Like that's bullshit. These people get paid so much to do that for me. Like it'd be a shame not to like watch them.
Right, exactly.
Fucking fiction.
Yeah, it's like a combination of the fiction from film and the reality and the bluntness of just real life. That is where I feel like I get inspired from. So I'm pulling from these nonfiction, real truths, and then the more abstract kind of ways of talking about that you get from like a film, and just putting it together. That's the beauty. That's like the middle ground of my ideas.
I find a lot of people are just like, as they get older, are more eager to learn than when they were kids. Like I wish we all had that eagerness to learn when we had 8 hours a day committed to fucking in a classroom reading and shit like that.
Definitely, man. I mean, I was always like this, bro.
Yeah?
I was always like this. I remember I got my first microphone when I was in 6th grade. My mom got me like this like $20 USB microphone, and I had figured out how to crack like FL Studio. And I was obsessed. Like me and my brother would be down there trying to figure out how to like make beats and how to record, and we'd look up YouTube videos, how to like mix your vocals. And that was really what shaped me as an artist. If I didn't have that experience, there would be no Maurice Moore as you know it today. That's like so foundational to how I am as a person. I'm just obsessed with growth and learning. And I think that's why I developed thick skin, because it's like, I don't give a fuck. If I'm not it right now, I will be it in 5 years, because I know my work ethic, and I know that I can sit down and just figure it out. Just tinker with it and learn. Eventually, I'm going to get where I want to go, So,
well, what is it for you though? Because like it feels like, to me, like that's you're in a sick position right now. Like you're writing for like A-listers, you're making your own, like your music's getting fucking streams, dude. You're out here touring, like
when will you stop, Maurice Moore? Like when is it gonna be enough for you, man?
World domination. But for real though, like I feel like I'm the type that's not really ever satisfied, but at the same time I don't feel like I'm gonna be satisfied until I could just be like, hey mom, like you're good, you don't have to work anymore. I feel like just taking care of myself is not enough for me. Like I want to have impact beyond myself. I want to be able to take care of others. I want to be able to fully impact the world in that way. So it's not just about streams, it's about impact, you know. It's about really, this album changed my life, bro. Like this album, you know, helped me through this hard situation, you know. That's what really it is for me, and I want that to reach every crack and crevice of this earth.
Do you have people coming up to you saying that, like, this album
Yeah,
changed me?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, all the time. And
What does that feel like?
it's incredible.
Wish I had that.
Fuck you.
This podcast got me through the darkest times, man.
Hell yeah, bro. People probably feel that, and you probably never heard it yet, but you'd be surprised, man. And that
You're
surprised
welcome.
me, because even when I didn't have a lot of streams, I would connect with people who would express that to me, and those are the moments that really helped me realize my actual dream was not just to be famous and make money, but rather to have major impact. Like the shit that we do, this interview, someone's gonna hear this and hear some of these golden nuggets of information.
You have been spitting golden nuggets right here, man. Yeah, dropping them on
The floor
this
is just
thing.
fucking lit.
Dude, or whether it's like, yo, I had a shitty day and I had a good laugh, like, bro, this is having an impact on people's lives. And the more that we embrace that fact and, you know, step into that, the more we can find fulfillment in what we do. And that's what keeps me going, man. For
I think
sure.
that's what, like, I'm seeking too, because we had a fan in here the other day. Because one night we went out to a show and there's a photographer and he was like, "Hey man, like, I've been following you guys' shit. I love you guys' shit. I'd love to like shoot photos with you guys. Like, what are you doing tomorrow? We got an interview. Like, come shoot."
Hell yeah.
And he was like, "Bet." And then when he walked in here, first thing he said, he was like, "Man, it's surreal. Like seeing the set. Like it's crazy to see it." And I thought back to like when I went to like Universal years ago and I saw like the Big Bang Theory set and how like surreal that looked to me. I was like, man, that guy's feeling that for our studio. Like, that's pretty fucking sick.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yes,
fucking sick.
bro.
It's
Hell
just-
yeah, man. I'm happy to hear that too, because, you know, I mean, Freddie, I follow Freddie, obviously, and I seen you guys actually before I've been on the show. Like, I saw you guys and I was like, damn, this is dope. Like, I want to be on it. You know?
Let's go. We made it happen.
Did you see the ketchup clip where Freddie
Yeah.
didn't know what was in ketchup?
Yo, his demeanor is always like cracks me up. When I saw him there, he's just like, he's so chill, man. He's so
Man, so many people
Like, what
fuck
is
with that
ketchup?
episode.
He says. What is ketchup? I don't subscribe to ketchup. What does that mean, Freddie Prince?
yeah.
But let's get into the present as we get towards the end of this interview here. Dude, 2022 has been a sick year for you. Like, your singles that you've been dropping are like, shout out GoFundMe is a sick track. 22 is a sick track. Those are sick to hear live too. Like, you brought it on the stage. Do you feel like you're making your best shit right now as you get into your new upcoming
Don't
album?
call it shit, man.
Sorry.
Best music. Making
Yeah.
best shit.
Yo, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Are you taking good, healthy shits right now, man?
good,
Like,
wholesome,
yeah.
you know, long.
You eating regular,
Yeah.
like lots of veggies,
Lots of
like,
fiber.
Yeah, they're held together good. Yeah,
Yeah, man. I
That's
mean, the
equivalent to
crazy
your
because
music right now.
a lot of the singles that I put out this summer, I've been sitting on for like since 2021, some of them even 2020. It's crazy because like a lot of the music that's coming out right now is older to me. And a lot of the stuff that you guys are going to hear is a mixture of older and newer. I do feel like I'm making my best work right now, for sure. I feel like even the stuff that's coming out on this new project, I'm just so proud of it. I feel like it's the most artistically cohesive, but also the best execution and display of like my talents thus far. And I think that's only evolving. Like the stuff I made last week is damn near better than my album. I'm like, damn, maybe I gotta add this to the album. So
Maybe you got to make a deluxe or some shit. you know?
yeah, man. Oh my god.
Hire him.
Did
man.
I just
hire him?
do that? Did I just do that right now?
Exclusive Maurice Moore deluxe album coming soon.
Period. There's definitely like a lot of moments that right now I just feel like I'm hitting my stride creatively, and I'm excited. Everything about music right now feels good. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels strained. It's just flow state all the time. And I think actually another thing I attribute to that is I quit smoking weed, bro. Would believe it or not. Like I used to smoke like every day. It was part of my creative ritual. And about 4 months ago, I just decided like, yo, I don't know, something compelled me that it was time to just take a break.
Cold turkey it.
I thought you were cool, man.
Bruh. But yo, no kizzy, bro. It really like it changed my life in many ways. And I think cannabis is a beautiful thing. I think you know,
Yeah.
I don't have anything against it. I actually think it's very medicinal, has a lot of purpose. But I felt like it was just, you know, became a recreational thing that got out of hand for me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just what I feel right now is just I'm always in flow. I'm always feeling creative. I never forget my keys or my wallet anywhere. And that's
4 months since my last incident.
right, bro. I was
120.
fuck. I'm wearing my hat. Where's my hat? It's like on my head type shit. You know?
On the fridge, like 125 days since last lost keys.
Yo, man.
It's funny you say that though, because I've been thinking that too. Because I was like, man, Mom, cover your ears. But like for the last like 6 years, like I haven't taken like more than a week off of like smoking weed. So I'm like, man, I need to take like a break. Like,
I
2
relate
months or some
heavy,
shit,
man.
One time I took a month off, got the best marks I've ever gotten in university.
Wow.
Yeah, as soon as exams were done,
Said,
I was
"We
back
back."
on that shit, baby. Come on now. You know,
Hell yeah, man.
I can't go too far.
No, man. I think it's a beautiful plant. Like it has a lot to teach people, and it definitely taught me a lot. And I think it's like any relationship, you know, it has its ups and downs, and you know, sometimes you got to go on a break, you know. And I think it's that time for me, but that's just me on my individual journey. I'm not saying anybody should not smoke or should smoke, but
Are you saying they should smoke? Everyone should smoke. Everyone should
Smoke weed every day.
Everyone should smoke weed and try all the drugs. Because then you
at
don't
least
know.
once.
That's why you don't know if you're gonna like it or not. So you may as well try them just in case.
You're gonna take one thing from this interview with Maurice Moore. It's that
Try all
try
the
everything.
He
at least
approves the
once.
use of all drugs.
Can we get a snapshot of you doing?
Try drugs. Kid.
That's funny.
Whenever you decide though to get back into it, if you ever do, let us know.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely hit
Let
you
us
guys
know.
up, man.
Yeah,
We're gonna catch a vibe. So, what is your go-to strain?
You know,
Gene guy.
I just buy it. I don't really care, dude.
Oh, dude.
I normally buy by the name. I'm a big by the name guy.
Like you're like the fucking Obama,
Yeah,
like,
dude.
like electronic vapor. Kush
Yeah, like
type
spider dicks. Like I'll smoke that. Like you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean?
See, not me. I'm definitely
Blueberry Kush punch in your throat. OG. Like oh my god. Like, let's go, dude. Like,
nah, bro. I was like a super connoisseur. Like I was about my terpenes and like
I worked at a
strain.
dispensary.
Oh, you were fucking. You were
I
a
was-
stoner.
Yeah, like I was really about my shit.
I worked at a dispensary and like people would come to me and my first question would always be like, how high do you want to get? Like medium high, small high, or big high? Like that was the way that they would. And then I had no idea.
Yeah. You're like, okay, this one has like 30%. You gonna get right with this? yeah. No, I was a sour diesel. Sour diesel was my favorite.
I like Bubba Kush.
Oh, Bubba Kush is
Bubba
fire.
Kush is fire.
It's funny you say sour diesel. I just watched we were fucked up the other night. We were rewatching the 2016 freshman freestyle.
Oh yeah.
Denzel Curry and all those guys, and he has a
Yep.
bar in there where he says like sour diesel, and it brought me right back to 2016 because that's what we were smoking at the time was sour diesel.
Dude,
Listen
it's
to
a
like the
classic
freshmen,
strain.
like
That's dope.
crazy. But
Use the force.
You were gonna say something.
I was gonna say something.
I thought so.
You were gonna say something.
I don't know.
What were you gonna say? Were you gonna say something?
I love you guys, man.
I love you too,
And I
man.
love you too.
Come on,
This is
man.
I'm glad that we did this. I'm glad we found the
This has been
time.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
It's
Hell
been a
yeah.
dope time.
Now we
man.
need a new white whale. We need a new white whale. Is that a true term? Like, do people say that? Like, is that a thing?
I've only heard that from you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard it.
but like whenever you ask people like that, they know what you mean.
right?
Like you've asked.
Did you know what I mean when I said white whale?
I put it together. You
Yeah,
know? I personally haven't used
contextually.
that, but I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an honor, man. I appreciate that.
I said, wouldn't want to be anyone else's
I didn't know
white
what a
whale.
white whale was before this, but I appreciate it. Yeah, any closing remarks here?
No, this was really fun though.
Dude, this
dude.
is fun,
Good time,
man,
bro.
for sure.
Fucking look out for this dude. He's fucking
Maurice Moore.
the sickest.
Do you want to promo the upcoming album, or do you not know any dates yet or nothing?
Yeah, I mean, first things first. I mean, definitely make sure y'all check out my summer singles. I dropped a whole bunch of them. Featuring YC, Jazz Karis, 22 featuring Ye Ali and Jermaine Elliott, and Band-Aid. Oh my God, Band-Aid. Listen to Band-Aid. And I got a new single coming out at the end of the month called DNA featuring Jordan Sparks.
Sweet.
And that's the first single off the project. And yeah, that's pretty much what's coming like immediately. And come see me on tour, goddammit. I'm touring Canada right now. Check out my Instagram for tickets.
That's right. We were meant
Yeah.
to start
If
off
you're
with
in-
that.
if you're in-
We'll end off off with it though. But yeah, you're on tour right now.
Yeah, I'm on tour.
If you're in Halifax looking to get down, have a little fun on Remembrance Day, Maurice Moore is in the city on Remembrance Day.
Yo, I'm dead.
I didn't make the dates, but if you're not doing anything on Remembrance Day,
In Halifax, Nova
Come pull up on
Scotia, you
us.
know where to party.
I'm dead. Bro, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been an honor, bro.
It was
It's
a
been
pleasure.
I fucking knew you were going to say that. That's why I cut you off.
You said honor, I get pleasure,
I know.
but then I'm like, well, this was a really good time. Like, I don't know.
I know,
Leave
man. I'm
me a
just
good-
messing with you, dude.
no, this was fun, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, man. And you already know what time it is, man. It's just 613 Takeover Ting right now. You done know.
Okay.
That's sick.
It's going to be a huge year, man. It's going to be a huge year for you. It's going to be a big year for us, too. I can feel it coming, bro.
Huge, big.
Yeah, huge, big.
Hell nah. Yo.
Massive all across the board years.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Catch you guys next week.
Peace.